Alpha Flight has their back against the wall. Now the Department H knows where they've been hiding the mutants that they have been protecting in the wake of the Hellfire Gala. Will any of those mutants in hiding step up to the plate and become Alpha Flight's next member? What is up, Earth's mighty subscribers? It's Blerd Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're going to be talking about Alpha Flight number 4, written by Ed Brisson with art by Scott Godlewski and color by Matt Mia. So before we actually jump into the proceedings, I do want to take the moment to apologize for something. I made a mistake, and it's in this particular instance. I want to take a moment to just hold on. I'm sorry. This is too hard. I want to apologize to all of you Earth's mighty subscribers who I misled with misinformation, which in no way, shape, form, or fashion was malicious on my part, but I guess it's time I come clean. I mixed up a character's name. I'm 40 years old, and I've been reading comics roughly about 36 or 37 of those some odd years. And, you know, sometimes, especially with what I do here now, I read anywhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 comics a week. And that's just talking new comics, not the myriad other comics I read just for, you know, shits and giggles, things I don't even talk about on this channel. But, you know, sometimes you get names mixed up, and I want to apologize for upsetting the 3 Dr. Heather Hudson fans that were upset about the fact that I called Dr. Heather Hudson Dr. Heather Tucker throughout that video. And you know what? I actually want to apologize even more to everyone else, because it's just so hard. I really want to apologize to all the Tempo fans out there, because I actually feel worse, not about mixing up the name of Dr. Heather Hudson, but also for confusing what I think is an objectionably better character in Dr. Heather Tucker, aka Tempo, with such a milquetoast white woman like Dr. Heather Hudson. So I apologize for that. But no, in all seriousness, the way I record my videos a lot of times, I'm usually just talking. I have like a couple of notes in front of me, but for the most part, I'm usually just shooting from the hip. So if I misplace a name every now and again, and typically I'll catch it in the editing process, but this was one of those situations. I think the week I did that video, I had done like 5 or 6 other videos in that same week and was doing a bunch of other stuff that y'all don't even have any idea that I'm doing. But it's not an excuse, but it's just what was going on. That said, it doesn't really change the fact that I was right about everything else that I said. Everything I said was no less true. The idea that the sword was killing Heather the entire time because she was not killing anyone, the idea that it's usually only relegated to people who are already dead or are considered undead, is the reason why it doesn't kill them when they use it, and also largely because they're typically killing people to fuel the sword's power. All of that was true. And also the fact that characters like Aurora, Northstar, as well as Fang, and presumably Snowbird were keenly aware that Heather was Nemesis. I was right about that part, though it does seem like maybe Puck might not have been in the know, and maybe neither was Shaman, or maybe all those characters were, but regardless, Guardian was the one who didn't know that Heather was Nemesis. So all of that is still pretty much the same. So there's that. Heather got a get out of jail free card in regards to the character Shaman being able to heal her and bring her back from the brink of death. That was something I kind of half expected, but ultimately I almost kind of wondered if they were going to go some route with, oh, well, you know, even Shaman's healing abilities can't save her. But I did appreciate the fact that Shaman does point out that while he was able to heal her this time, if she were to use her powers again and it killed her, she would be dead. But I also think if in doing that, and I do feel like Heather, because we do discover that she is, you know, awake, she wakes up after Shaman is able to heal her. While she doesn't do anything, she doesn't even really say anything, I do feel like with what's going on towards the end of this issue is going to galvanize her into using her powers, because Erica Doran is trying to take down Aurora, Northstar, and Fang, as well as any other mutants that they've been rescuing. We see throughout this that because of the fact that Alpha Flight proper has been giving her mixed vibes, she's starting to kind of catch on that maybe they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, that they might be acting intentionally negligent in order to help their friends. All of that would kind of lead you to believe that she is sending the box sentinels after them, and technically she does, only she's sending them there to apprehend Feedback, who is in quotey fingers Alpha Flight custody, even though technically he's not. He's giving himself over willingly, and even that is a ruse in and of itself. But the Box Sentinels mysteriously just up and leave. And the question then becomes, where are they going? And the initial idea is that, oh, well, of course, she wants to take down Aurora, Northstar, and Fang and recapture all the other mutants that they have been rescuing. However, that's both right and wrong. They aren't going to where Aurora, Northstar, Fang, and Nemesis are. They're going to Krakoa North. Erica Doran has figured out where they have been hiding those mutants. And now that she knows, she has sent the Box Sentinels after them. And this is honestly probably one of the more deadly threats that could be going on right now in this book, largely because Krakoa North is, for the most part, I won't say defenseless, but the hideaway is largely filled with mutants who are either teenagers or, younger children. And these are mutants who, while some of them may have alpha level powers, and if you don't know what an alpha level power is, alpha level is basically meaning that you aren't omega level. You very likely do have limits to your abilities, but your abilities are better suited for, combat and offense. It's the difference between someone being telekinetic but only being able to lift like 5 pounds versus someone having telekinesis and is able to lift 1,000 pounds. That's kind of where that changes. A lot of the people that we are familiar with on the X-Men teams, most of them are alpha level mutants. Characters like Cyclops, Sunfire, those are your alpha levels. But yeah, for the most part, these are kids, namely 3 particular kids who we probably spent more time with just by virtue of the fact they show up in a lot of shots, even more so than some others. Characters like Spencer, who is the human passing kid amongst the trio that we've seen a lot of. The other one being Tasha, who is the green girl. And then there's Bubs, who's the one who looks eerily like Apocalypse's son, Holocaust. Those 3 characters we see a lot of, and there's also Laurent, aka Argent, who was the mutant that they had brought to Krakoa North in Alpha Flight number 1. Though Argent has walked away from Krakoa North, he's trying to get away from them because he doesn't want to go to Chandelure, he doesn't want to travel to the Shi'ar galaxy. He knows that it's pointless to just leave the planet knowing that he'll probably never be able to come back, and he would only just be waiting for things to get better if they got better. While all these other people at Krakoa North, they are mutants with the exception of Northstar's husband, Kyle Genadu. He's a normal human and has no way to protect himself from a Box Sentinel, even though technically the Box Sentinels, I don't think, would target him because, well, for one, Roger Box Jr. is controlling them, and for 2, Kyle is, once again, he's not a mutant, so he wouldn't necessarily be a high priority target for them unless Erica forced Roger's hand. We'll get more back to Roger here in just a moment, but once again, I feel like a lot of these kids, these teenagers we see at Krakoa North, a lot of them, I'm gonna presume, aren't trained in how to use their powers in any way that would be effective against the Box Sentinels, even if they had powers that could affect them. These aren't X-Men. These are people who just so happen to be mutants, and that doesn't mean they can't protect themselves, but there's a big difference between protecting yourself and trying to take on a Sentinel, even if it's one that's on the smaller side. Sentinels have killed far more worthy opponents, even the smaller ones. But this is honestly more of a stepping up point for Argent because, once again, he does not want to be a hero. He's not interested in being a hero. He doesn't want to be a member of Alpha Flight. He just wants to live a normal life, as normal as he possibly can. But now he's in a situation where he has witnessed the explosion that happens at the end of the issue at Krakoa North, and now he has to make a choice. Does he just go right off into the sunset, or does he go back and help the people who risked their lives to help him? This is the hero moment that we've kind of been waiting on for this character. Now, getting back to Nemesis, that is another story altogether, because I feel like, as I said earlier, Nemesis will very likely use her powers to help get Aurora, Northstar, and Fang to Krakoa North so that they can save the mutants there, as well as, Northstar being able to get to his husband, Kyle. Now, granted, I don't think that Northstar or Aurora would actually need this help per se, because they're both ridiculously fast, like superhuman speed levels of fast. It's not to say they couldn't just, boom, fly there like that, but they need to get there fast. So maybe Nemesis will end up having to use her powers once again, and this will probably lead to Heather's death, possibly, and then maybe her, being brought back as an actual true nemesis, an undead warrior, and more in lockstep with the other nemeses we've seen in the past. But getting over to the Roger Box Jr. side of things, I've often stated, in my past few videos for Alpha Flight that with this character, I feel like we know Guardian has a guy on the inside. He's mentioned at least once or twice that he has a mole working inside of Department H who is in deep cover. And I feel like while Roger has done some damage, it almost kind of seems like Ed Brisson's trying to throw us off the scent that this is who the inside person is. But I feel like maybe I kind of want to double down and say that it is still Roger Box Jr. who is the guy on the inside, because technically, while he did blast the shit out of Heather and knock her on her ass and damn near kill her, I feel like if he is in fact the mole who is working against Erica from the inside, he did it because he had to make it look good. And maybe he made it look a little too good. But once again, it all comes back to Occam's razor. It's the scenario that has the least amount of moving parts that is usually going to be the most obvious and correct solution. If that's the case, it kind of has to be him. We really haven't even seen any other characters working in Department H right now who it could potentially be. I mean, there are some of the normies that are working alongside Erica, and then that would make some modicum of sense. There is the assistant who has also been working closely with Erica Dora, who very well likely could also be a person of interest here, but once again, she's kind of been kept in the background a lot. We really haven't even seen her say much outside of reporting to Erica about any of the situations going on, so I don't really know if I would use her as that one too, but she is an obvious one. And I know there's some people who said, oh, well, maybe Erica's in on it, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. But who knows? I would love to be proven wrong. That said, that's everything I want to talk about with Alpha Flight number 4. If you want to see more awesome videos like this one, as well as other videos about Alpha Flight and X-Men and other comics from Marvel and DC, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, so that way you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, let me know what you thought about Alpha Flight number 4. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.